Beauty USA is the largest distributor of beauty and skincare equipment in the US and Canada. We carry top-of-the-line microdermabrasion, ultrasound, IPL laser, and various professional instruments for your salon and spa needs. Our exclusive skincare lines are imported from Europe. Elaine IPL. Beauty USA is located in New York City and offers free education and classes on all of their products and equipment.
Hello! This time I'm going to show you the 8-function unit of Beauty. This unit has most everything that you would need to do a very professional facial. One thing is an analyzing tool, the wood lamp. As we all know, we put the wood lamp over the client's face, we turn it on, and we can see on the client's face everything to see any imperfections or any of the problems that the client might have. You can also, at the same time, use it naturally, your 5-diopter light, and analyze the skin in that fashion. In this instance, I think I will be using this because I have made a preliminary study of the face and I know already what I'm going to be using. We also have with this a high frequency, and we have several different tools with the high frequency. One is the little spoon that you know, which has the blue light. That is for antibacterial action. Then we have the red light, which is a little mushroom that is more for the absorption of a product. And then we have a spot treatment, and that is so that we can just treat little spots. We also have in the same little container, we have also our suction tubes. And those I will explain when I get there. Then we have a brush that has different tools also. We have the sponges for the face and the body, and those you can use with any kind of a peel. You can also use it probably with some enzyme peel, but be very careful that you do not put any pressure on the skin. You do not want to injure the skin. Then we do have the brushes, which are very useful and I use frequently because the brushes will really cleanse the skin very deeply and thoroughly. One for the face, another one for the face and décolleté, and one for the body. We also have a little pumice stone tool, which you can use either when you do a pedicure or a manicure or hand rejuvenation. You could also use it, for instance, if somebody has severe sun damage right on the décolleté, or for a back facial. We then have different, one for a spray and one for a suction. And these tubes we attach to our little suction tubes, and we just use it on the face. You have different ones, one for spots, one around the eyes, and one for the entire face. We then have, with this, also a galvanic. Now galvanic is often misunderstood because we don't use it quite as frequently as we should. However, in this instance, where the client is somewhat oily and has a combination skin, it would be a useful tool because we can use the galvanic to also liquefy any trapped sebum. For instance, whiteheads, blackheads, we can remove easier if we liquefy the sebum by using the galvanic first. And with that, to make it easier, this function has two different settings. One is very clearly indicated for absorption. You press the button again, the button comes out, and you can use it for removal or for liquefying sebum. You also have a different tool in this, and that is in the galvanic. For instance, if you would want to use a swab, and you would use this in such a fashion that you apply a moistened cotton pad, turn it, tighten it, hold it, and now you could drench this with either a toner or some kind of a lotion that you want to treat the skin with. You would then apply it with the absorption, and you would go over the skin every time, make sure that the client is grounded. She holds the grounding electrode in her hand with a moistened piece of cotton. Now many people put it under the shoulder, or she holds it in her hand. I find it, most clients like it holding in their hand much better. We also have with this a very useful steamer. Now this steamer has also ozone, and as you can see, the steamer is working quite furiously right now, and the steam without the ozone is very warm. If you turn the ozone on, you will see that the steam will change, and now the steam is much cooler. Very useful when you're treating people that have couperose, that have very oily skin, that do not need heat on their skin. For instance, this skin I would treat with ozone. So let's go right ahead. She holds the electrode. I know I will use the galvanic throughout the treatment, so she is set up already. I'm using the steamer already on her, and now I can go ahead and clean her skin. I use, in this instance, our cleansing lotion that is water soluble and quite appropriate for her skin type. Now, I could use with this also the brush. If I would use the brush with this, I would wet the brush first and go lightly over her skin. In this instance, I don't really need to do that because her skin is really quite clear, except that she has a couple of breakouts that I will treat then with high frequency. But you can make this treatment appropriate every function and every skin type that you want to treat. You can treat with this 8-function unit. And just while you're going along, you can use the steamer all along. Makes your cleansing so much better. Now what you would be using is, you would be using a scrub, and I will be using in this instant the Clean and Active Scrub Cream Peeling from Club. Now I will also use, and I will show you with this, that I can use this cream peeling with our sponge for a deeper peeling. She's quite sensitive, so what I will have to do is I will have to wet the sponge in order for her not to have too deep of a peeling. This kind of peeling is really quite intense, and if you would be using this, you would not be using microdermabrasion or any other peeling. You remove the sponge first, wet it, and then you attach it to the brush. Don't immerse the whole brush into the water. That may not be good. Okay, you turn on your machine. This is the main function unit. You have to, the main function button, you have to turn that on in order for each one of these functions to work. You have to do that with dry hands. Then you turn on the brush. You can turn the brush any which cycle that you want. Fast, slower. The faster you go, the more action you have. The slower you go, the less action you have. In this instance, we're going to go for a medium speed, and we're just going to go very lightly. Don't use too much pressure. Depending on the skin type, you use just a light pressure. How does that feel? Feels good? Good. And always verify if what you're doing is pleasing to the client, because you may be doing something that the client does not feel very pleasing. If you find it gets too dry, just apply a little bit more water, and you go all over the face with this. You get it a little too slow, speed it up just a little bit. There we go. Also use it on the nose. That's always a trouble spot. Use it over the lips. This tool is, by the way, also a very, very good tool to use on a mature skin. If you wanted to really cleanse a sun-damaged skin. Okay? Once you're done with that, you cleanse the skin off. And now you can turn off your steamer. Okay? And you cleanse all of the little particles off. Now it's the time to use your toner. Toner, by the way, is a very important ingredient or product that you have to use after every cleansing, because what you want to do is you want to set the pH level to an acidic level so that the client can really benefit from all the products that you will be applying. All right. She is very nice and clean now. You would now be doing your extractions. If you needed to do any extractions, do your extractions very gently and carefully, because you do not want to injure the skin in any way. And if we do these little extractions here, we do right afterwards, we do our high frequency. And the high frequency is, the main purpose is for the antibacterial action. However, we can also use high frequency for other actions, that is to penetrate products. And one of the tools in the high frequency that I have not talked about yet is a tool that is a straight tube. And this straight tube you can use for the body, and especially if you would be using it if you're doing a back facial. For instance, if somebody is really broken out on the back, you can use this electrode, this very straight device for the back. You can also use it for cellulite, to penetrate a cellulite product. So this is a very, very important and good tool to have. In this instance, we're going to be using the spot treatment. And before I apply it to the client, I hold my finger on the electrode, on the glass. Reason being is that when I put it onto the client, I will not shock her. But when I lift off my finger, you can see little sparks, and it works that I treat just these little spots. With my finger on, I turn it off, and I turn the unit off. Okay? Always sanitize your glass electrodes with an alcohol swab. Do not put them into a sterilizing unit. Now, if I wanted to remove some of the sebum and some of the little sebum deposits right around the nose here, I would use very likely a suction such as this, and I can go around the nose. When you apply the suction tool, use your finger on the little hole. It's also advisable to put just a tiny bit of cotton, such as here, into the tip of it, because that will catch all of the residue that you might be sucking up from here. So you would do that on this one also. We want to use the galvanic for removal. So what we are going to do is we are going to leave the button out, because that's the indicator for removal. We turn our galvanic unit on, and we turn it on very low at first, and then we can adjust it while the electrode is on the skin. Okay? We now go over her, over the tip of her nose. We go over all of the areas that we want to have a removal. Do you feel anything? Is it okay? Okay. If the client reports a little zapping or a little tingling, that's fine. That's the way galvanic works. And you go over the chin. 2 to 3 minutes is usually long enough to liquefy any kind of hardened sebum that may be within the skin. All right. There. We turn the unit off. Now what we can do is we can now use galvanic also for an absorption. And in this instance, we use a clear and active concentrate. We use an ampule. We again use some cotton to break off the tip, and you have to be on the point, and then it is very easy to break. You put the ampule in your hand, put your two hands together, and just press it on. Once you have the ampule on her face, if she has a tiny face like this, you may not need all of the ampule, may just need half of it, and use the rest for the end to give her a little extra clearing. Now we can use the galvanic to penetrate this product. And we will use the rollers for that. And we press our button in. And we turn on the galvanic unit at a low, very low first, and we roll the galvanic rollers over her skin to absorb these. Again, a few minutes is generally enough for the ampule to be absorbed. If you think you need more, just apply a little more of the ampule. Keep the skin wet. Always verify with your client if she feels okay, everything okay. All right. Now this is also fabulous if you wanted to do a lifting, and you would do the lifting naturally more in the labia folds here around the frown lines and right around the eyes. Don't go too close to the eyes, but close enough that you reach every little line. This model doesn't have any lines, but she benefits from the absorption of the clearing ampule. Okay, I think this is wonderful. All right, now that we have absorbed all of this ampule, we can now do either, in this instance, I would not do a deep massage, but I would apply a mask that would be beneficial to her, such as sebum mask from Club. We could also apply a mask that increases the clearing activity of the skin, like for instance a mask that is a drying mask. You can also apply that here. In this segment, I would like to show you the usage of the soft mask. In this instant, I'm using the EPS 73P, which is for acne. I have the powder already in a bowl, and now I add some water, some at a time. Don't put too much water right away in. Just some cold water is fine. If you have a super sensitive woman, you can use some tepid water, but I like to use just cold water. You mix the mask, then I start on the chin and I apply it thickly. Quickly, you work quickly because the mask will dry. Anti-aging mask on this, in this assortment, you would be using also on the neck and décolleté. In this instance, we use most of the mask on the face because it is an acne soothing mask. And now the client can rest. The beauty of this mask is that it all comes off in one single piece. The cleanup of the skin is very, very easy, very light. It just really brushes off. I'll be using Immune Milk Peptide Fluid because I want to give the skin a little bit more fortitude, so that it can defend itself against any aggressions. She is young, she has just a few little breakouts that we want to work against. The milk peptide of the Immune line from Club is just the most perfect product for her. Light, non-oily, just a light oil film, but very protective. A light film is just all she needs. Give her a light little head massage. Okay.
Beauty USA is the largest distributor of beauty and skincare equipment in the US and Canada. We carry top-of-the-line microdermabrasion, ultrasound, IPL laser, and various professional instruments for your salon and spa needs. Our exclusive skincare lines are imported from Europe. Elaine IPL. Beauty USA is located in New York City and offers free education and classes on all of their products and equipments.